Thank you for joining and welcome. This is my take on a classic Les Paul style guitar. Traditionally these get finished in some kind of dark fretboard and a flamed or quilted maple top. But for my guitars I'd like to do something a bit different. This is Indian Rosewood, which is what I'm planning to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and start building the guitar, and I'll work as I talk. We'll do a bit of a deep dive into rosewood as we go, and I'll see if I can't convince you that this was a good idea. Let's do it. Firstly, why don't we see rosewood in solid body electric guitars? Now, we all know about endangered species, about CITES, about exotic woods, and the importance of sourcing or responsibly sourcing wood. That's important. But it wasn't really used before that, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, it's heavy. Solid body electric guitar in rosewood would be heavy. And two, which is the one that's probably more important for mainstream manufacturers, it's really expensive. This top set that I have is only 3 or 4 millimeters thick, and it was €100. If I was looking at a pretty piece that was 10 mil thick, it would be €200 plus. So there's others, but those are the main reasons why you don't see them on electric guitars. But you do see it on some really nice acoustic guitars. Why is that? And here it comes. Tone wood. Don't do it. I can hear people shouting. Wherever you land on the tone wood debate for electric guitars, you talk to an acoustic guitar builder and say rosewood, and they say warm, rich and resonant. So whatever your position on that debate, there's no good reason to rule out rosewood. This will be the first rosewood top I've ever installed, but I have worked with it in a couple of furniture projects in the past. If you look at it online, you will see that it can have a tendency to blunt tools and blades, but a lot of other hardwoods do that too. And to be honest, I didn't find that that was the case any more so than any other wood that I normally use. And I know from working on fretboards that it sands and polishes up absolutely fine. Beautifully, in fact. That gives me 43 mil, which is perfect. I was just about to join the top onto the body at the same time as I join the top together, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and join the top first and then glue it on. While that's trying, let's crack on with the build. Let's get the outline done and the body cut. So back to discussing rosewood. So we had a chat about why it is used, why it isn't used. But there are some challenges to working with rosewood, and ironically it's the things that make it good to use on a fretboard are the things that can potentially make it a bit tricky for using on a body. It's a naturally oily wood, which means that it sands and polishes up beautifully, but it can be a bit of a pain to apply finishes to. You need to be a bit more careful. So before I glue that top onto this body, I'm going to prep it by sanding, but I'm going to wipe it down with acetone to make sure that I don't have any issues with it sticking properly to the top. And it's the same complication with finishing. Because of the natural oils in the rosewood, it means that an oil finish again on top of that is just going to sit there and not cure, and it's just not a good idea. But I'm looking for a high gloss finish anyway, so I'm going to use a melamine lacquer finish on these, which seems to be just about the best solution that you can have. So if you're thinking about using rosewood, it's worth having a think about the type of finish that you want to use before buying a top set. It's also a little bit of a mystery what it's going to do over time. So some will lighten, some rosewood will darken, but you can never really be sure. In this case, it's going to go on that olive neck that I made in the last video. So whether it lightens or darkens over time is absolutely fine by me. This is really starting to look like a guitar now. That's the neck pocket done and the double binding in, which I love, and I've used white double binding because I'm going to be putting white humbuckers in here. So while I remark the centre line on this, let's talk about why I really chose rosewood. I gave consideration to all of those things that I've already talked about, but predominantly I wanted to try this and to have it work because it's a really, really good looking wood. I mean, I love it, and it's all very different and it's all very pretty. One of the advantages I think we have as small builders is to be able to really spend the time picking and matching the wood that we use for every single build that we do. And with rosewood specifically, each piece is so unique, much more so than a lot of other woods, that I really like the idea that I can never replicate this guitar. I could get a piece that's fairly similar, but it's going to be unique, and if somebody falls in love with this guitar, they're going to need to buy this guitar. Speaking of unique and good looking guitar woods, the guitar that I'm popping on screen now is currently being built by a very good friend of mine called Todd, and I'm going to put the link to that guitar build, to his latest video, in the end card for this video. Because if you enjoy guitar builds using really pretty, really unique bits of wood, you'll love the stuff that he builds. I'm also going to add a link in the end card to this video to my step-by-step tutorial on how to do binding, in case you're interested in seeing how I do it, or you need to do it for yourself. Let's get these pickup cavities routed, then we can take a look. So the pickup cavities are done, the string through body holes are also drilled, but this is where I wanted to get to for this video. So let's find out if I was right. There it is. I've got to do it. I haven't done this yet. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it. I can tell already. See, now that I see it, I like the matte finish. I mean, it's just rough sanded at the moment to 120, but would look nice in matte. I'm going to have to think about that. So there you have it. Those are all of the things that I considered before using rosewood, but I think it was totally worth it. I'm really happy with the result, and I should probably crack on now and get on with the next episode. So I've got a lot to do. I've got the control cavity and the switches, the neck carve, and to think about finishing. So if you're going to be interested, I'd love it if you join me for that one. So thanks very much for watching, and the next episode will be soon.